The American Civil War. From April 1861 until April 1865, the Union and CSA fought in battles up and down the country, resulting in the loss of 698,000 souls. This made it the deadliest conflict in American history. History forgets the struggle of individual soldiers, but today, we get to relive a heroic defense from the Union encampment against an onslaught of CSA forces who seek to drive them out. We begin on the Union side as the troops report in after a hasty breakfast. Scouts report a huge CSA force making its way through the forest to the north and heading towards the campsite. Officers prepare their regiments for the bloody battle ahead. The men say their prayers and the call to battle is given. The infantry divisions move out towards the front lines. A storm is brewing on the horizon, a grim yet poetic omen of what's to come. The mood is somber, but the men are hopeful that a successful defense can be mounted against these CSA aggressors. The enemy are spotted emerging from the forest, and the first lines of infantry take their positions. Will the Union successfully defend their camp, or will they be overrun by this superior CSA force? Let's follow these events as they unfold before us. The first stage of this battle will be fought on a defensive hill to the north. In the distance, the CSA can be seen emerging from the forest in their hundreds. This will be a terrifying sight for the Union. Each regiment will be defending their section of the hill, like this officer here, commanding his men to get into line formation and point their barrels towards the enemy. They're braced for the fire command. And that's a beautiful first volley. The CSA respond in kind and men begin to drop. The CSA know they're going to take a lot of casualties, but they must take the hill. They begin advancing towards the Union positions. The sharpshooters here with their rifles will have an increased rate of fire over other troops on the battlefield. Muskets and rifles of the day produced a lot of smoke, making it very difficult to see the enemy in front of you. The CSA are taking extremely heavy losses, however, their generals command them to keep pushing forwards. The CSA on the right here have made a push up the hill and are beginning to gain ground. The Union need to push them back as quickly as possible. The soldiers waver against the Union lines and begin falling back to safer positions. For now, the Union have the hill under control. The CSA will need to try tactics other than attacking from the front if they're going to win this one. Let's get a bird's eye view quickly and see what we're dealing with on both sides. Casualties are mounting on the Union side, however at the moment I think they're averaging a 2-to-1 kill-death ratio. If they can keep this up, they might just stand a chance at winning the battle today. Fresh troops from the CSA arrive on the field. The officers command them to move up the hill to try taking it one more time. This push is far more sizable than the one before. Perhaps they stand a chance this time. The flag bearer is moving up and down the lines looking to inspire the men. And while not contributing to the overall kill count, it will be making a huge difference to morale. The CSA are taking some ground, but once again, a Union counterattack drives them off the hill. They begin an orderly retreat back to their safe positions. The CSA generals were hoping to overwhelm the hill with superior numbers, but the Union are putting up a staunch defense. The CSA take a lot of losses during that retreat. The Union see it, move up their men to maximize their kills. Just look at the bodies on the ground. This fight has been brutal so far for the CSA, but remember guys, they are the attackers. The Union have fewer men and are on the defensive. Each assault on the hill will be reducing the Union reserves. All the CSA have to do is keep up the pressure until there's nothing left. The sharpshooters continue to rain a hail of bullets on the CSA. For now, the CSA are holding fast, deciding what to do next. The Union will try and pick off as many as they can in the interim. Oh, but they can't get too complacent. 3 men went down there. That's going to be a loss for sure. The Union are racking casualties as well. I think it's only a matter of time before they're going to need to fall back. Seeing the battle relatively to the campsite here makes you realize just how close the CSA are to overrunning the Union positions. Through the smoke, the forces on each side are less than 20 meters apart. The CSA do seem to be making some progress now. However, the officer gives the command to fall back once again. What's happening? It looked like they were getting the upper hand. The cavalry have arrived, at least without their horses. In order to get through the thick undergrowth, they've had to dismount. However, they're using their expert rifles and pistols to take out the Union from afar. Their officer is preparing his men for a charge. The CSA are holding back just ever so slightly. It's like they're waiting for something to happen. Earlier on, the odds were heavily in favor of the Union. However, things are looking much more even now. The CSA might just stand a chance. Both sides continue to exchange volley fire, being led by the officers. Speaking of which, the officer for this regiment on the left has ordered a charge. His men are going in to see if they can dislodge the Union troops from that rock on the left. It's being held by what remains of the sharpshooters. Union officers spot this attack and move more men into position to fend them off. However, elsewhere on the battlefield, the CSA do seem to be coming in with a surprise attack. That smaller attack must have been a feint. The cavalry come in with their pistols out. They absolutely wreck the Union force on this side. Pistols are meaningless at long range, but close quarters like this, they have 6 shots without needing to reload versus the 1 shot the muskets get. They send men into the smoke, but they don't come back. The Union send in additional regiments just trying to fend off this side attack. I think they've done it, but they've taken a load of casualties in the process. The men regroup and head back towards their defensive positions. They need to be wary because the CSA may also be attacking on the other side. As the Union move back, that's exactly what's happening. The CSA on the front have moved to the left, and they're all attacking on the opposite side of the hill. You can see the Union in the distance charging in there, and the CSA coming up from the bottom of the hill. The officer has his pistol out, and I think he's single-handedly taken the position. Well done to the CSA there. Once a Union position, these rocks now belong to the CSA. They use this as a staging ground to mount an attack upwards. With enough little victories like this, they'll overcome the positions in no time. Oh, but the Union do have an answer. They move a regiment around the flank and attack the CSA from the back. Oh, that's going to be damaging. I wonder if they can hold on. Oh, and to make matters worse, another Union force is coming in from the left there. The CSA are currently sandwiched between 2 regiments. Can they hold on? Here they come, guys. This is going to be absolutely brutal. It was a valiant effort. However, they have now been dislodged from the rocks. The Union have taken them back. But wait, once again the cavalry are attacking from the other side. They've managed to get in close and have their pistols out once again. The Union just don't have the numbers on this side. If they don't find an answer quick, the CSA will take the hill. In an act of desperation, the entire Union forces charges straight into the pistol fire. Their tactic is just to use up all the ammunition so they can get in close and take them out. But it was unsuccessful. That entire regiment has been destroyed. Additional Union troops come over the hill. Let's see if they can do it. This time the cavalry are low on ammo and are unable to repel the attack. The last man tries to escape, but he gets shot in the back and goes down. Just look at the casualties that are racked up here. This is what the hill currently looks like. It's absolutely littered with bodies. You can see in the aftermath the Union forces are scattered across the hill and don't have a cohesive line. In the face of overwhelming numbers, the Union waver and fall back. The CSA recognize this and issue a full charge. They move up the hill amongst light resistance. I think this is it, guys. The CSA are about to take these positions. What's left of the Union are hiding amongst the trees, but guys, they just don't have the numbers. They swiftly get taken out, and the CSA are able to move on to the camp. They've finally done it, but that was costly. A large number of CSA men have been taken out. Hopefully, not so many that they don't have enough to take the final objective. Just look at the casualties here that have racked up. They move beyond the hill to the outskirts of the camp. The remaining Union forces are in there somewhere. The CSA are being cautious. The last thing they want to do is charge in without a plan and get surrounded. The infantrymen get their reloads in and attach bayonets. In this top-down view, you can see Union reinforcements coming in from the left. The CSA will need to do what they can in order to secure the ground that they've gained. And there's no time to waste. This regiment goes straight in and attack the nearest Union regiment that they can find. Fighting breaks out once again, but unlike the battle we saw before, this one is very close quarters. The Union reinforcements trickle in, but the CSA lines are just too strong. Right now, they're repelling all of the Union counterattacks. The CSA spot a huge Union push coming down the center. They move most of their men into the central camp, waiting for the advance. The men get a moment's rest, but it's only temporary. The real fighting is about to begin. The CSA are feeling extremely confident. It's very likely that they will secure the camp today. Oh, but a few more artillery strikes like that one could turn the tide. The Union advance is spotted and the CSA get into position. Their plan is to reach the other side of the tents and form a battle line. However, the Union have got there first. The CSA are forced into this narrow gap and the Union fire shot after shot down the line. This might have been a mistake by the CSA. And as we say this, more Union troops arrive from the left. You can see them coming out of the smoke. The CSA here are doing what they can to repel the counter-attack, but it's not looking hopeful. They're looking very, very outnumbered on this side. And the shots come firing and take out the remaining infantrymen. Let's head towards the Union positions and just see how formidable their forces are. There's a lot of them all lined up, ready to go. Once again, I can see sharpshooters in their ranks. They'll be carrying rifles, which gives them an increased reload rate like we saw before. On the other side of the camp, the Union counterattack is also going well. The CSA are desperately trying to hold on to the ground that they've gained. The officer here is leading from the front and he's racking up probably the most kills out of his entire force. More Union forces arrive and pursue the retreating CSA. From this bird's eye view, you can see the CSA still own the camp center. The Union will have to take it back if they're going to be victorious. And to make matters worse, reinforcements for the CSA are arriving on the battlefield and will continue to do so throughout the match. What we're witnessing here is the final preparations for the end battle. To recap, the CSA have dislodged the Union from their camp and now hold the center. The Union are performing a counter-attack and must take that central point back, otherwise they will lose the battle. A small flanking force does arrive around the side here to take out the CSA. This is one direction that they'll be mounting the main assault from. And here we go, guys. The Union charge in for one final push. The flags are up, but the CSA just have too many men. This attack from the Union gets pushed back and the flag begins to retreat. They have to save the stars and stripes. That Union regiment was too impatient. They probably should have waited for their allies to attack in unison. And here comes the second wave. The Union come charging in. The CSA are taken slightly off guard. However, it looks like they are barely able to repel them. Just look at the number of bodies that are mounting from this final attack. I would not like to be on this battlefield. The Union are desperate, they're just trying to claw things back by any means necessary. However, it does look like the CSA hold and take the objective. This is a victory to the CSA. That was some brilliant fighting on both sides. Before you go, guys, I'm going to show you a little map and a recap of all the movements that were made. The blue represents the Union forces, the red represents the CSA. You can see here that the Union did put up a lengthy defense at the hill. It took a really long time for the CSA to dislodge them, but eventually they managed it with a few attacks from multiple sides, which we're showing just here. The Union fall back to the camp, the CSA sweep through. The Union try to mount a defense but just don't have the numbers, and the CSA are victorious.